Hi, I'm Malley Weber, and I'm a ceramic artist. I'm an educator and also a teaching artist. I run a business called Hollowell Clayworks, and that's right downtown in Hollowell, Maine, right on Water Street, which is our main street. So I'm here today to talk a little bit about my work and how natural resources impact the work that I do. So you can see here some of my work behind me. I'm in my home studio right now, so this is where I do all of my work. And let's see, what else can I tell you? Oh, I teach at the University of Maine up in Augusta. I'm the ceramic arts educator. I also am a teaching artist for the Maine Arts Commission and also for Watershed Center for Ceramic Arts right there in Newcastle, Maine. So I've spent my life pretty much working around clay, or working my life around clay, working in clay. Somehow, I don't know, I've somehow managed to scramble to make it all work out, and now that I've been doing it for about 30 years, it's starting to look like I know what I'm doing. So anyway, I'm here in my studio, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to try to do this. Actually, maybe I'll swing this around. Can I do that? I don't know if I can do that. I'm going to walk around backwards, then I'm going to do this. So the way my work is impacted, I don't know if you can see, I feel like you can probably see a lot of this stuff. So you can see that the natural landscape means a lot to me. I do a lot of work with organic materials, natural kind of sea life, microscopic sea creatures. There's some jellyfish-like objects, there's some trees and fields. And so my work is very inspired by my natural environment. I love taking walks in the woods. I love going down and staring at the ocean. I do some sailing, that kind of thing. So the natural environment is very important to me. One of the things that I've done, because I'm interested in environmental concerns, is that I'm using local resources. So about, I don't know, when I first started, I started inquiring about Maine clay, because when I moved here, I thought, well, we have all this clay here. How come nobody's using it? Turns out, actually, the brick making industry is huge in Maine. And so people have been using it. It just kind of fell out of favor. People weren't really using it for clay work as much, for artwork, that kind of thing. So I started investigating. I found some other artists that were working in this, and I found the Maine Geological Survey. So I'm going to show you this. So I don't know if you can see that map. This is a map from our Maine Geological Survey right up here near me in Augusta. And I'm pretty sure you can see some of this. So this is where I have harvested most of my clay. This blue line signifies where the ocean, where the shoreline used to be. And all of this purple, this light purple, that's all glacial marine clay. So you can investigate a ton about how the glaciers ground up the rocks and how that has affected what we have here in Maine. So here's a photo. This is me digging at what I call my beloved clay pit. And that is right at where the map was over there. So I'm going to bring you back around here too so I can see. So I didn't have a whole lot to go on, especially firing temperatures and that kind of thing. I had to kind of zero in. There were some people that, like I said, that were working in it. And so I had to, kind of figure out where I wanted to land. And it's been quite a process. So one of the things that I invested in was this pug mill mixer right here. I don't know if you can see this baby. So this is what saved me. There's lots of ways to process clay. In fact, there's a clay processing video that I did for Watershed Center for Ceramic Arts. You can link it through my website, which is malleyweber.com, Malley, 1B in Weber. you can link that there to find out a little bit more. They have a whole bunch of information on their website about processing. And that video is basically a dry processing video. There's other ways. You can do the wet processing. And for me, I use this pug mill mixer because what I can do, I'm going to show you. Let's see. Let's go into the loo. I have a composting toilet, but also my little library. And you can see here that there are lots of bags of clay. So this is the clay that comes directly in from the ground. So when I dig, I have to be really careful about disturbing the natural environment. I don't want to be in the middle of a river or a lake or something, just kind of digging all of this stuff out, because it can really disturb the natural resources that we have, and we don't want to do that. A lot of people are interested in utilizing Maine clay, and I try to let them know that you can do it. You need landowner permission. Don't just go digging anywhere. Don't rip up the streams and rivers and things like that, because if you are using it for environmental purposes, you don't want to be a destroyer of our environment, right? So here, let's see. So from that wet clay, the bags that you saw, so what I'll do is I'll put them in this. This is kind of like the hopper. I don't know if you can, yeah, I feel like you can see that. So I get to mix all of this stuff in here, and so a lot of it will dry out. So I can mix wet or dry through this process. Sorry, here, there. I'm gonna point you down there. See all these, this is the dry clay, and I usually smash it up so that it's a little bit smaller. So I will recycle my clay, I will smash it back down, I'll run it through the pug mill mixer, and what that does for me is it will help screen out some of the rocks and things, because there's definitely rocks in there. It will also, I can add some other clays to it to make the clay body work a little more workable. I throw on the potter's wheel a lot. I do hand building and I throw on the wheel. And so throwing on the wheel is a little tricky with clay straight out of the ground. It is what they call thixotropic, which means that when you form it, sometimes it just wants to sit back down and kind of turn back into a little bit of pile. So I add some other clay bodies to it to do that, to make it workable, so I can mix everything right here in my pug mill mixer. And when it comes out, let's see, I'll show you right here, swing you around, sorry about that. You can see in there, comes out in these long tubes. So let's bring you back around here so I can see what I'm doing. So this is kind of a cross section of one of the long tubes. And so I cut this up. This is about a pound of clay. So I'll cut this up, wedge it up, and I will use it, like I said, on the potter's wheel, or I will do some hand building and create different forms with it. You may have noticed that it's kind of a green color. So, a lot of people call it glacial marine clay. It's a blue-green clay, Maine blue clay, that kind of thing. It has a lot of iron in it. And so when it fires, it turns red. So it's brick red when it's fired. So if you look over here, so these are some of the pieces that haven't been through the kiln yet. And so I will take them from this stage. Well, before I do this, I generally carve. And then from this stage, I will coat them with a refined colored slip. And then I will put some stain on it and then fire it. And I just fire once. Again, it's part of that environmental sort of thing that that is important to me. So I just don't want to use up a lot of resources. So I try to be really careful about the amount that I use, the amount I recycle, and just lower my impact on the environment. You can see, we just had a Maine pottery tour this weekend, so my studio is actually as clean as it's ever really gonna be. So, but I'll just swing you around here and you can kind of see the different things that I have in my studio. I am firing in electric kilns. There's my wheel back there. You can also see, I'll bring it back in here because this is kind of special. This is also like a little incubator for my babies. So I don't know if you can see them in there. They're curious. They're saying, hey, what's going on? So those are my layers, and they're going to be outside pretty soon. I'm hoping the weather's getting nice. So let's see what else. So that is how my work is, how I use the environment. So I use it for inspiration because nature does it best. It just always does. The systems it has created are unbelievable. Oh, I can see some more of the work back in there. So why try to improve on it? It really knows what it's doing. So let's see, what else can I tell you about, let's see, the future of my work with the environmental changes that are going on. I think that as more and more, as the population increases, I think access to land and clay may affect me. I don't have clay on my property, which would be very convenient if I did. But so I rely on friends' property. But, you know, as you can see, property is sort of quickly getting eaten up. So I think it's important that we kind of protect those natural resources for everyone. The ocean clearly is a big factor in this, and glaciers, the glaciers receding, all of these things. So the clay that I'm using is actually about, you know, 14,000 years old. So it's been around quite a while. And with my sort of small take, like I really think about this clay, and I dig it by hand. So I'm out there with the shovel and bags, and I try not to take more than I need. And at this point I have a studio full of clay, and if I keep it sort of, I think of it as my sacred clay, then I'm not just churning and burning up resources. So that's really important to me. One of the other things about my work, or with the things that I do a lot of work with trauma and clay and sensory motor work. So if you're interested, you can check out my website, again, malleyweber.com. There you can link to some of the trauma healing work that I'm doing, and more importantly, connect with Cornelia Elbrecht, who really wrote the book on trauma healing with using clay. And also you can check out classes that I offer. You can check out some of my work. You can check out the links to Watershed. I'll call it Wild Clay on the website, so you can check that out. If you're ever in Hollowell, you got to send me an email or something, let me know. I try to hole up in my studio up here when I'm not teaching so that I can work quietly. It takes a long time to do these intricate carvings, so I like to kind of like hide out from the world. So, except for when I'm doing videos and not hiding out from the world. So anyway, it was nice talking to you. Thank you for visiting with me. I'm interested in any kind of things that are working towards becoming more environmentally sound. I really like the idea of the marriage of clay and food, and how we can create clay vessels for all sorts of things. Clearly earthenware has been around a long time. Earthenware is what this is. The clay body that we're using, glacial marine, it's earthenware or low fire or terracotta. Those are just 3 different terms for the kind of work that we create with this lower temperature clay. You may very well be interested in what's going on at Watershed Center for Ceramic Arts, because they also use local clay. That's a residency program specifically for ceramic artists, and it's right there in Newcastle in Lincoln County, Maine. So there's a lot going on, and there's so much great art and work being done in Maine. It's really nice. I feel very honored to be here and doing what I'm doing. So it's a privilege talking to you. I appreciate it. If anyone wants to contact me, just go to the website, malleyweber.com. Let me give you a little flash on how you spell it. So let's see, here's a little something that I do. So right here is the website, if you can see that, Malley Weber 1B. So I appreciate being asked to do this video, and so I look forward to meeting you and talking to you a little bit more about this process. All right, thank you.